Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're just going to do another Velocity Banking review because it is Saturday, Saturday, Saturday. If you don't know what that's referencing, that's old school monster truck rallies. Even though I've never been to a monster truck rally, I remember those commercials back in the day. Okay, so what we're going to do again, review debt payoff strategies, Velocity Banking. So, what is Velocity Banking? All it is a debt payoff strategy where you throw all of your money into debt. So essentially, it just means we're not saving any money while we're paying off debt. So if you take a look here and you see the copy the same income and the same expenses, this is scary to most people. And I'm going to show you how I do this in real life. You take a look here, right? You see that when money comes in, it just goes right out. I don't save anything, okay? It just goes right out. And so this, you see right here, zero. But what we're going to do is have a number called cash flow, okay? And then we're going to try to increase this cash flow number using something called a line of credit. Now, for this example, I'm going to assume that we have access to a huge line of credit, $210,000 at 8%. And if you don't know what a line of credit is, all it is a financial tool where you could borrow money, pay it back, and then use it over and over again, right? So this is my home equity line of credit. Actually, where's my home equity? Oh, right here. Home equity line of credit for $280,000. So what does that mean is that I can go to a bank's website, click a button, and they'll dump up to $280,000 into my checking account. Amazing. Right? 280, and they charge me a 7.5% interest rate. And if you take a look at all the lines of credit that I have, okay, lines of credit, it's 594,000. Okay, 594,000. This includes credit cards because credit cards are technically a line of credit. And then if I take a look here, I'm going to tell you the most mind-blowing secret that most of you reject about how to get credit is that banks don't lend money to people who need it. I know, right? Banks don't lend money to people who need it. Okay. And if you understand that, then you'll be easily able to get credit. All right. So let's go ahead and do this. Okay. So let's go ahead and do this. And I am going to increase something called our cash flow, even though we're not saving money, right? Because if you take a look at the checking or savings account, there's no money left over. And that's why this is scary for most people because they're trained by society. Hey, you got to have some savings, even though like savings just gives us like 1% interest, 1 to 4, and they're usually charging us, I don't know, on average 4 to 30. You know what I mean? Okay. So why not put all of our money into debt? Okay. And would the bank give you a free and clear line of credit when you only have $292 left over? No, because you need money. But if you had known this strategy a long time ago, you probably wouldn't even get here, right? It's kind of like that line from the Matrix. I can stop bullets. No, Neo. When you know you're the one or whatever he says, you won't have to, or something like that, right? Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and move these credit cards. Okay. So what is it? How much is the balance? 5, 30, 31, 9. And then I'm going to do this. So this is going to be 75,000. And then we're going to move it into this humongous line of credit, 210. And then guess what happens here? Okay. We just simply did a debt transfer. Okay. We didn't eliminate the debt. 1, 2, 3, 4, these all go to zero. And look at this. We literally went from $292 of savings into $2,739 of cash flow. See how we didn't need to make more money? Same income, right? Same income, but didn't save money, and somehow we made this $2,739 with the help of a line of credit. And then the final step is you put your entire paycheck into that line, the entire paycheck, all the 6,500. Put it in. That's what I do. Okay. I'm not saying you got to do it. I'm just saying that's what I do. You see this? It's all gone. Okay. And then I take my expenses out. That's the final step. And then after every single month, you just see the balance of your line of credit go down by $2,739.72. Okay. 2739.72. All right. And then what we're going to do is take the average daily balance, multiply it by the interest rate, and then divide by 12. And then you see that after every single month, even with the interest added from the line of credit, the balance just goes down. Look how easy that is. I'm not making more money. I'm just using my line of credit as what we call our operating account. Okay. And then what we're going to do right here is that in 31 months, we're just going to record we have all of our credit cards paid off. So 31 months. All right. All of our credit cards paid off. And how much was that again? That was 75K. 75K. All right. All right. So now what we're going to do is with these, we're going to tackle these 3 loans. So give me 1 second to redo this. So we have a loan calculator right here that figures out the current balance after 31 months. And what we're going to do is start off with the auto loan and move it into the line of credit. Now, why do we do that? Is because we have this formula called the cash flow index, which is just the balance of the debt divided by the payment. And the lower the number, that's the one you want to pay off or move into a line of credit. And you might say, why is that? It's because I could pay 12,000 to get $452 of cash flow in my life, or 27,000 to get less. So I'm gonna get more bang for my buck for moving this 12,000. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that, and we're gonna do that right now. So this is gonna be plus 12347.68. And then, okay, this is going to be 0. This auto loan right here is going to be 0. And then our cash flow has increased to $3,192.63. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and do this. And we're going to update this cash flow number. All right. So now it's 3192.63. All right. And then we see that here in 35 months, it's all paid off. All paid off, 35 months. Okay, that was easy. So now it's 35 months, and I think it's 99K, right? Because it's 74 plus 24, 75 plus 24, 99K. And then in 35 months, 0, this is gonna be 35, 35. And then now we'll start off with this student loan. Okay, we'll just move it into that line of credit. And let's see how long it takes us to eliminate that student loan. Okay, so this is going to be plus 26690.42. And then we move that into the line of credit. And then this is going to be 0. And then $3,500 of cash flow. Okay, so now we're going to do this. And then this is going to be 3572.47. And I'm going to copy and paste. And then I am going to do this. And then in 42 months, it is completely paid off. All right, so 42 months. And then it's going to be 99 plus 35. And then it's going to be 134K, 134K. And then, okay. All right, so now 42 months, what's the balance right here of the loan? And, because we have such a low interest rate, right? And we paid off most of our debt. Look at our cash flow. It's about 3,500. We don't have to focus paying off our mortgage. In fact, maybe this is the perfect time to increase our wealth. And one of the easiest way to increase your wealth is buying real estate at a discount. Okay. So you take a look at this. This is my rental property I bought in 2022. Bought it for 210. Okay. And it's worth 300. And why don't we just do the same thing? Buy another rental property. Okay, buy another rental property for $210,000. $210,000, okay? And all in, buy it at a discount. And how do you buy it at a discount? You just got to find a distressed seller and help them out, okay? So let me see if I can add a new mortgage here. So give me one. Actually, I don't even need to add a new mortgage, but this is what we can do. We can add just, maybe buy it outright with a line of credit, so $210,000. Now, would I do that? It depends, right? It depends, because I feel like I'd still get a loan, but let's just do it with a line of credit right now. And we spend 210,000, okay? 210,000 in buying a rental property that's worth 300,000. Okay, so this is what's our cash flow? What's right now without the tenant's income? It's about $3,572.40. So, assuming the rent is about $2,000 a month, 210,000 divided by 300, we'll get $2,000 in tenants rent. And then, after all expenses are accounted for, we'll just say that we only get about 70% after expenses. So our cash flow is almost about 5,000. Okay. So let's see after how much cash flow we can get. So this is going to be 4972.47. And this is where rental property, so 300K rental property bought for 210K, right? All in 210. All right, so now let's go ahead and keep going. We got our cash flow and the tenant's cash flow, and let's see how long it takes us to pay off that sucker, okay? And all right, so takes us about 92 months. 92 months to pay off the rental property, and I don't have a line item for the rental property, but I'll just put it right here. 92 months paid off rental, and then so that'll be 134 plus 210. That's going to be 344K, okay? And then now let's just do the personal mortgage. So the personal mortgage at 92 months, what is it? 181,000. So let's now focus on that. So let me go ahead and open up the Velocity Banking Calculator. Give me one moment. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill in the details of the Velocity Banking Calculator. So the current balance is 181,000. So 181,002.96. Okay. 181,002.96, 927.53. What's our income? So our income, including tenant's income, is 7,900. Right, 7,900. And then now let's just do. So here's the thing, okay? If there's a huge interest rate difference, like 3% and 8%, you want to be careful. You don't want to move the whole thing into a line of credit, even though this will pretty much pay off pretty quickly because this is our last loan. It's better to usually do chunking. Now, why is that? It's because if you move a 3% loan into an 8% line of credit, and then take a look at this cash flow index number right here. And I didn't really go into it too much in this video. You don't get that much bang for your buck. 181,000 just to get $927 back in our cash flow, and you're moving into an 8% interest rate. Unless there's a significant amount of cash flow, it ain't worth it. I'll just do a quick demonstration, but let's just do this. So let's do $8,000 chunks, moving $8,000 of a loan into a line of credit, repeatedly paying it off. And what's that? Mortgage paid off in 2.7 years. Whoa, mind blown, right? So that's 92 months. Divide by 12 plus 2.7. So that's 10.37 years. We are debt free, right? So now this is zero. And now we have oodles and oodles of cash flow in our life. 5,900. Amazing. And actually, let me just do this. So right now it's $8,000 of interest. 22, right? So even though it pays up pretty quickly, why pay, I don't know, almost 3 times more than you have to, even though 22 really isn't that much. But don't leave money on the table when you don't have to, right? Okay. All right. So that's the end of today's Velocity Banking session. Had 2 paid off houses, paid off all our debt within 10 years. So you ever hear like, Velocity Banking is a strategy that you can pay off your mortgage in 7 to 10 years. We didn't just pay off one mortgage in 7 to 10 years, okay? We paid off 2 mortgages and all of our debt in a little bit over 10 years. Amazing, okay? So what's our goal? Well, what was our goal? How much debt was that? 344 plus 220. So 344 plus 220. That's 564K in about 10 years. Not bad. $500,000 10 years. Now, here's the thing, okay? At the end of each video, I kind of want to have a catchphrase, okay? That I always like to say, hey, type this in the comments so I know you're paying attention, and I'll give you a heart, okay? Those YouTube likes, comments. So today's catchphrase, okay, write in the comment below monster truck rally. Actually, no, scratch that. Debt payoff rally. Okay. Saturday. today's Velocity Banking debt payoff rally, right? Debt payoff rally. That's the key phrase of the day. So write that in the comments below. That's how I know you got to the end of the video and you're paying attention. Have a great Saturday, everybody, and I'll see you on the next video. It's Karina Lanta Mentorship.